Okay, shall we start now? So the new chapter which we are going to start is known as group audits. Everyone, okay? Now, as per the old syllabus, which was up to November 23, the name of the chapter was Audit of Consolidated Financial Statements. Only the name of the chapter has been changed. Rest remaining contents are what same. Basically, in this particular chapter, audit of consolidated financial statement or group audits, mein, what we need to understand that once you become the parent auditor of a holding company, right? Parent auditor or a holding company, then you need to do the audit of standalone financial statements. Along with that, you are also held responsible for doing the audit of CFS, Consolidated Financial Statements. Most of the cases में standalone financial statement auditor and the consolidated financial statement auditor will be the same person. Are you getting the point? There are very rare circumstances that they will keep the CFS different from what? SFS. First of all, so you need to understand and start using these words SFS and CFS. What is SFS? Standalone financial statement. And what is CFS? Consolidated financial statement. In this chapter, you will find the challenges which the parent auditor is going to face. See, after completing the standalone financial statement audit, he has to devote a lot of time, effort, and energy on doing the audit of CFS because he's the one who is going to coordinate with the other auditors of subsidiaries. So if I have to give you the example of Reliance Communications or Reliance Industries ka, there are 466 subsidiaries which are required to be consolidated, including subsidiaries, associates, and joint ventures. So you can understand the extent of hard work what a CFS auditor has to do once the Reliance audit is over. Are you getting the point? And it is not something which you do it in 10 to 15 days. It's a year's work. It's a which work? Years. Full throughout the year, you will be slowly, doing the things, and finally, you will come to the conclusion with the two audited financial statement. One is SFS audit and one is CFS audit. Now, what is the content of this chapter? In this chapter, we'll understand two persons' responsibilities. Okay, what is the responsibility of the management when the consolidated financial statement auditor is asking the information? And what is the responsibility of the consolidated financial statement ke auditor ki? One, we will see this chapter from the management's point of view, how much help they have to give to the auditor, and we will also see this chapter from auditor's point of view, how much information he needs to obtain. Point number one. Point number two, while doing the CFS ka audit, what are the things you need to keep it in mind? What you need to do? What should be your checklist? What procedures you have to follow? What adjustments you have to see? Adjustment, talking about adjustments, I think you might have done that at your intermediate level also. Adjustments are of two types. One are called permanent consolidation adjustments and one are known as current consolidation adjustments. So what are the two? What do you understand by permanent consolidation adjustments? क्या होता है permanent consolidation adjustments? Have you heard of consolidation? What do you mean by consolidation? So let's start with the basics again. Sir, you are extremely bad in retaining your CA intermediate. You do not have clarifications on the basic informations also. What do we do when we consolidate the two financial statements? Branch नहीं होता वो, component बोलते हैं उसे. What do we call it as? Branch word you use when you are a head office auditor. Which auditor? Yes. And consolidation means combining both. Am I correct or not? What do you do in combinations? When you combine the both, what are the things you do? This is what I'm asking you. This is nothing but called consolidation adjustments. See, it's a very simple thing. Now, there is one company where you are holding 70%. Am I correct? Is that your subsidiary? When you will combine it, what will happen? Their financials you are combining with your financials. Am I correct? Now, when you are combining the financials, are you the owner of 100% or you are the owner of 70%? What about the remaining 30%? वही तो मैं पूछ रहा हूँ. That is called permanent consolidation adjustments. What do we call it as? which you need to do it only once in the first year of consolidation. Which year of consolidation? फर्स्ट ईयर ऑफ कंसोलिडेशन में आप दो ही एडजस्टमेंट करते हो, आइदर यू विल कैलकुलेट अ गुडविल और अ कैपिटल रिजर्व. व्हाट यू विल कैलकुलेट? प्लीज टेल मी व्हेन डू दे अपीयर? When you paid more than, when your purchase consideration is more than what the other company deserves, it means you have paid what? Goodwill. And when you paid less than what the other company deserves, you earned what? Capital reserve. So is it something you have to do every year? Are you purchasing it every year or only once? So that is called permanent consolidation adjustment. What do we call it as? Which you do have to do it only the first time of consolidation. Next year you won't do it, next year you won't do it. You only have to do it in the first year. Second thing is minority interest. What do we call it as? Now what you need to know that minority interest word is what we use when we follow the accounting standards framework. Which framework? Accounting standard. Those companies which are following India's framework, we call it as non-controlling interest. What do we call it as? समझ में आ रहा है डिफरेंस? सी इंडिया में देयर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस इन इंडिया राइट नाउ. सम ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस व्हिच आर स्टिल फॉलोइंग AS and some organizations which are following what? Ind AS. Are you getting the point? Ind AS came in India in 2015, right or not? और AS अपने को स्टार्टिंग से ही है. AS की नंबरिंग है AS 1 to what? 29. India में today also there are 40 to 45% of the companies which are still following the compliance of what? AS framework. When you do the consolidation of those companies which are following what? AS framework, we call it as MI, minority interest. उसे हम लोग basically बोलते हैं equity attributable to the minority interest. But those companies which are following what? Ind AS, we will call them at NCIs. What is NCIs? Non-controlling interest. It means that controlling interest where who does not have the share? Parent does not have the share. So these are called permanent consolidation adjustments. Are you getting the point? Second one are called temporary consolidation adjustments, which you need to do every year at the time of consolidation. Please tell me one thing. Will there be related party transactions between the holding and subsidiary? Will it be once in a lifetime or every year? उसे बोलते हैं inter-debt transactions. What do we call it as? Or in short, we call it as indebtedness. Am I correct? अब मेरे को ये बताओ, holding sold the shares to the subsidiary. What does that mean? In the holdings book, subsidiary is a debtor and subsidiary के book में holding is a. So when we'll do the consolidation, what will be the net effect? Debtor will be adjusted with that. This is something which you need to do once in a consolidation permanent wise or every year. So that's why they are called current year consolidation adjustments or temporary consolidation adjustments. So what are the two types of adjustments? Who will do these adjustments? Who will do? Parent will do these what? Adjustments. Are you getting the point? Management will do this adjustment, but checking whether the adjustments are done properly or not is whose responsibility? So our context is that. I'm not going to get involved in adjustment, but you need to know that when the management is doing those adjustment, what you need to look at, what you need to verify. Are they doing the adjustments properly or not? Are you getting the point? And third thing which you are going to see in this particular chapter, actually chapter is very small, but it is having a track record of coming into your examination since last 16 attempts without fail. Minimum 4 mark ka question must hai. Very small chapter, but every year gets. And even though the question, even though the portion has been changed, they just tried to change the name only because the content will remain same. Either it's an old syllabus or new syllabus. Now the third challenge which you face in this chapter, what if your holding is having a different gap and your subsidiary is having a different gap? ये भी challenge आता है. तुम्हारी holding के accounting policies are different from what? Subsidiary. Say for example, holding follow कर रही है SLM, subsidiary follow कर रही है WDD, और एक कंपनी जो इसकी अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज आर रिलेटिंग टू SLM or some another subsidiary which is having a WDV, you can't consolidate unless you harmonize the same. उसे बोलते हैं harmonization of which policies? Accounting policy. Or in this case, who changes according to whom? Component changes according to the parent. Are you getting the point? Again, who will do this adjustment? पेरेंट, बट हु हैज टू वेरीफाई दैट? ऑडिट. तो अपने चैलेंजेस करने के नहीं है. आवर चैलेंजेस आर नॉट टू डू इट. Our challenges are to check it कि whosoever is doing it correctly or not. बस. This only takes years time to understand. And now just try to imagine 466 subsidiaries are required to be consolidated. A parent auditor coordinating with the component auditor, that is a huge task. So becoming a standalone financial auditor is very easy, but becoming a consolidated financial statement auditor is too much difficult. That's why this chapter has been introduced in your portion. Did you get the point? And right now, though, I am just telling you some example. Main differences you will find when your parent auditing framework is different and clients auditing, subsidiaries auditing framework is different. What if your subsidiary is from US? तो अपने को फॉरेन एक्सचेंज इफेक्ट्स भी देखने पड़ेंगे. फॉरेन करेंसी ट्रांसलेशन रिजर्व अकाउंट वो भी चेक करना पड़ेगा. Are you getting the point? Consolidation adjustment. And sometimes, fourth challenge which we find, sometimes a parent does not include some of the subsidiaries. Why? And sometimes the parents are not even aware of the fact that someone has become its what? Subsidiary. I'll tell you how this happens. Say for example, this company is a very recent startup. Given the 200% result in a 1 year, I invested 5% in the equity of this company. I saw my 5% became double in the 1 year. Now would I like to invest more? मैंने इन्वेस्टमेंट के चक्कर में 10% मोर, 15% मोर, 20% मोर, 10% मोर करके 65% हो गया. How much? Now please tell me, did I invest in this company for the purpose of making it my subsidiary or for the purpose of earning the profit? It was just a temporary relationship. As per Ind AS, these kind of subsidiaries are not required to be included. And it means management is right or not. It means some of the knowledges of AS and Ind AS you need to have if you are a parent company auditor or a CFS auditor. Are you getting the point? You cannot tell to the client saying that why you didn't include the subsidiary. He has a reason to believe. Was this subsidiary as per the control or this became my subsidiary because I wanted to earn more profit? This is called temporary relationship subsidiary. Which one? And according to Ind AS, temporary relationship subsidiaries are not required to be what? Added while doing the consolidation. So I hope you understood the basic idea behind this chapter. So this chapter is going to deal with you or let you know what to be added, what not to be added. And main thing will be done by the management. Your purpose is to watch the management doing that and ensuring that management is doing appropriately. As simple as that. Is it clear to all of you? So that's why how the name has come out to be group audits or the audit of what? Consolidated financial statement. So I would like to ask you first of all, do you all remember section number 129? Financial statements. What is the meaning of 129? Financial. Tell me the 5 things comes to your mind when we talk about financial statements. Balance sheet, P&L, cash flow statement, notes to accounts, statement of changes in equity. Am I correct? Now, same thing, there is one section. Now see, what is this called? This is called framework of consolidated financial statements. Remember, consolidated financial statement is also going to be covered under section number 129 of the Companies Act 2013, where this says that consolidation financial statement includes what? Obviously, what is the first word? Consolidated balance sheet. Second word, consolidated P&L. Third word, consolidated cash flow statement, consolidated statement of changes in equity, and consolidated what? Notes to accounts. So what is the definition of financial statement? Is equally applicable on the definition of CFS. तो FS को हम लोग SFS बोलते हैं, standalone financial statement, and CFS को we call it as consolidated financial statement. तो same section which is applicable to SFS is equally applicable to CFS. Second thing, formats for the preparation of consolidated financial statement as per schedule 3. I already told you in India there are set of companies which are still following what? Accounting standards framework, and some companies are following what? India's framework. So division 1 companies, we call them as which companies? Division 1 companies are those companies which are preparing still their financial statements as per what? financial accounting standards, and division 2 companies are those companies whom do we call and they are preparing their financial statement as per what? Ind AS based. Are you getting the point? Now there are some facts which you have already done. I just need to polish it again to get into the subject. Before entering into the chapter, I need to clarify some of the things. What are those things? Section number 129, subsection 3. अब ध्यान से सुनना what I'm telling you and please give me the answer. Let's say for example A Limited is holding 70% of the voting rights in B Limited. So who is the holding and who is the subsidiary? A Limited is a holding and B Limited is a subsidiary. Okay. Now B Limited is holding 80% in the C Limited. Now please tell me who is C? C is a subsidiary of B Limited as well as what? A Limited. इसे हम लोग बोलते हैं two layer relationship. What do we call it as? C is holding 90% in D Limited. What is D Limited? Subsidiary of C Limited, subsidiary of B Limited, but not a subsidiary of A Limited. अब ये क्यों अलाउड नहीं है? क्योंकि as per the Companies Act section number 129, there are maximum how many layers of relationship required? 2 layers. But if I will change this particular thing to 80% को change करके, if I'll make it to what? 100%. Which person? Now please tell me what is C to B? C is a wholly owned subsidiary to the B. And if you bring this one wholly owned subsidiary either in this layer or in this layer or in this layer, then the Companies Act says that कि 3-layer relationship is allowed. How many layer? अब बताओ 80 I change to what? 100. Now what is D? D is a subsidiary of C as well as B as well as A. And it is not necessary that this 100% relationship should come in between. It may come first layer में also, second layer में also, third layer. So generally allowed are how many layers? But when we convert a normal layer into a what? 100% layer, then how many layers are allowed? 3 layers instead of 2 layers. So like that 4 layers are also allowed? Answer is no. So either maximum 2 layers are allowed or maximum 3 layers. Are you getting the point? When 2 layers are allowed, none of the subsidiary in the layers is 100%. Any one of them becomes what? 100%. Then 2 layers of the subsidiary will turn into a 3-layer subsidiary. इसे हम लोग बोलते हैं indirect relationship. Which relationship? Indirect relationship. Did you get the point or not? Point number 1. Point number 2 which you need to understand. अब ध्यान से सुनना and I will ask you question. Please reply. A is holding 70% in B and B is holding 70% or 65% in C. Identify the 2 parents. Is A and B both are the parent? Right or not? And B and C both are what? Subsidiary. My question is, who has to prepare SFS? A also will prepare its SFS. B also will prepare its SFS. C also will prepare its SFS. So which are the 2 companies who have to prepare CFS? A will prepare CFS of what? A plus B plus C. B will prepare the CFS of what? B plus C. C has to prepare any CFS or no need to? अब यहाँ पे 2 parent कौन हुए? A and B. But let me tell you one thing. It is a new amendment right now. If you are a ultimate parent, if you are a which parent? So this one to you have to show to your users your own SFS. This one also you have to show to the users your own SFS. Plus SFS of B also has to be laid down in the same AGM and SFS of C also has to be laid down on the same AGM. It means what is the responsibility of ultimate parent now? Its own SFS, its components SFS and what? Consolidated financial statement. Earlier, this requirement was not there. We recently changed that कि if you are attending the AGM of a ultimate parent company, the ultimate parent company का responsibility has been grown now. What is the responsibility? Its own SFS, its components SFS and consolidation. Can anybody tell me the justification why? बताओ भाई, अपना एसएफएस ठीक था, सीएफएस भी ठीक था, but why SFS of my components are required to be laid down in my AGM? देखो सर, when you show the consolidated profit ना, you are showing the profit of a group as a whole. How the stakeholders will come to know that out of your group which one is a profit making and which one is a loss making? So it is a responsibility of the parent company to let them. Let's say for example B was profit making but C was what? Loss making. Now please tell me, in the AGM those four financial statements have been laid down. Are the stakeholders are now getting the better information? What the information are getting is C is loss making, B is profit making, A is also profit making, consolidated they are in group profits. But imagine if I don't show this SFS of B and C, what will happen? Stakeholders will never come to know that who is profit making and who is what? Loss making. This is the reason, due to the recent development, now it is the responsibility of the ultimate parent, along with its own SFS, it also has to lay down the SFS of what? Components as well as what? Associates, joint ventures, subsidiaries. Sabki SFS also will be laid down in the parent. That is the point number 2. Listen, did you understand two-layer wala point? So what was our two-layer wala point? If none of the layer consists of, so how many layers are allowed? But if any one of them is what? 100%, then how many layers? Rule number 1 in section number 129. Rule number 2, what is the new responsibility of a parent company? अच्छा ये बताओ, चलो, let me ask you the responsibility of B now. What the B has to do? SFS of B, SFS of C plus CFS of B plus C. Are you getting the point or not? This is what the new implications you need to understand. अब ध्यान से सुनना, the next concept which I am telling you, which you might be having an idea, but expecting a reply from you. ठीक है, ध्यान से आंसर देना. Say for example, again repeating, A is having 70% in B, is having 62% in C. What is C? Subsidiary of B as well as A. 2 layers तक तो allowed है. What is B? So A is the ultimate parent company. Who two parents have to prepare CFS? A has to prepare CFS of A plus B plus C. B has to prepare CFS of B plus C. अब ध्यान से सुनना. B does not want to prepare CFS. B wants exemption from consolidation. First of all, does section number 129 provide it? Answer is yes. If you are, repeat after me, if you are a intermediate subsidiary, if you are a and you want an exemption from consolidation, you want an 3 conditions are required to be satisfied. How many? Condition number 1, your parent company should be located in India. What is the condition number 1? Whose parent? B's parent should be located in India. इसका मतलब अपन किसकी बात कर रहे हैं? A should be located in India. क्योंकि now B's का consolidation will be on the shoulders of whom? A. So now please tell me what A will prepare. CFS of A plus B plus C plus CFS of B plus C. क्योंकि B wanted a what? Exemption. Point number 1. Point number 2. B shall neither be a listed company either in India or outside India, plus B should not have applied to be a which company? Listed. Neither it is already a listed company or nor have applied to be a listed company. इसका मतलब अगर आप listed company हो तो exemption is not allowed. Point number 2. Condition number 3. ध्यान से सुनना. You have to take a NOC from minority interest कि they don't have any objection if the B will not provide them CFS. Please tell me how much A is holding in B now. What is 30%? They might be expecting the CFS from B or not. So send them a notice in writing to the 30% and ask them, do you have any objection if I do not give you the CFS, but my ultimate parent will send you what? CFS. If they do not have any objection, you should have the NOC from all the remaining minority interest, then also you can get this exemption. So tell me the 3 conditions to be satisfied by a subsidiary which wants an exemption from consolidation. Condition number 1, The subsidiary which wants a consolidation, its ultimate parent should be located in. इसका मतलब अगर आपका पेरेंट आउटसाइड इंडिया, आपका एग्जेम्पशन नॉट अलाउड है. सेकंड, नाइदर यू शुड बी लिस्टेड इन इंडिया और nor you must have applied for being a listed in India or outside India. Third, you must have obtained NOC, no objection certificate from your which interest? Minor. Who has to do all those three things? B. If it wants an exemption from what? Consolidation. Is it clear? Acha, will your answer change if I'll change this 70% to 100%? अब बताओ, what is B? Is B a normal subsidiary or B is a wholly owned? Now this wholly owned subsidiary wants an exemption from CFS. Think logically, which out of three conditions is not required to be fulfilled? Third one. Why? There is no minority interest. When your own parent company is ready to prepare your CFS, minority interest wala point will never come. Simple. अर्थమైందా? समझ में आ रहे points? All that you have done at intermediate level. Section number 129. No, you have not listened. No. Then how do they expect that कि 129 will be told to you? 129 अपने section है ही नहीं final में. It is only and only either you have done it in auditing or you have done it in what? Law. Maybe your faculty might not have taught you about this or you didn't find interest to listen when he was telling you. But did you understand the provision? अब बताओ, what are the three rules I told you? Point number 1. How many layers are allowed? 2 layers of allowed. Are you getting when the 3 layers are allowed? If any of the layer is what? 100%. Rule number 1. Rule number 2. What did I tell you? It is the responsibility of now parent company that along with its standalone financial statement, it shall also lay down the standalone financial statements of its every component in the same AGM. ये भी new responsibility. And what is the third one? What if you are an intermediate subsidiary or intermediate wholly owned subsidiary and you need an exemption from consolidation? Tell me the 3 conditions to be satisfied for a normal subsidiary. Your ultimate parent must be located in India. Second, you are neither a listed company or not have applied for being a listed company. Third, if you are a normal subsidiary, you must have obtained NOC from your minority interest shareholder that they don't have any objection if the ultimate parent will deliver them the CFS. And if you are an intermediate wholly owned subsidiary, this point will not be applicable. Because A itself is holding how much in you? 100%. Crystal clear? Anybody in the class having a doubt in this point? This is what brings an end at introduction of the chapter before entering into it. समझ में आया? These are the doubts you need to clarify first before entering into this chapter. So let's read it out and wind up. What is the section number 129 saying? Read. Every parent company along with its standalone financial statement shall also prepare consolidated financial statement of its components as well as the standalone financial statements of its components which include subsidiaries, joint ventures and associates. Section 129(4) is saying that it provides that while the preparation of adoption and auditing, rules of standalone financial statement are equally applicable if you're preparing what? Consolidated financial statement. So please tell me, what do you mean by that? Can you please tell me when do you and how do you file the consolidated financial statement का adopted copy का form numbers? Section number 137. First of all, tell me one thing. Financial statements are adopted where? AGM, annual general meeting. Is it one of your ordinary business? If it is your standalone financial statement, what is your form number? AOC 4. What is the form number? Which you need to file within 30 days from the date of what? AGM. With whom? ROC. What if you are a consolidated financial statement? It means you are a parent company. तो आपका फॉर्म नंबर आता है AOC CFS 4. What is the form number? And in case you are a listed parent, which parent? तो आपका फॉर्म आता है AOC XBRL 4. What is the form? Have you heard of this form? Full form बताओ. Extensible Business Reporting. Basically, electronic filing of the form is known as XBRL form. So tell me the 3 form numbers. Standalone file कर रहे हो तो AOC 4. Consolidated file कर रहे हो तो AOC CFS 4. And if you are filing what? Listed as a listed company, तो आपका फॉर्म नंबर आ जाएगा AOC. ये सारे पॉइंट्स जस्ट मेक मी रिमेंबर, आई विल मेक यू राइट. दीज हैव बीन रिसेंटली एडेड इन योर नोट्स. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, व्हाट दे आर सेइंग दैट इन द AGM व्हाट आर द पेरेंट हैज टू डू इट्स ओन CFS as well as the SFS of its components as well. Next point में I told you exemption वाला point. What is who will get the exemption from consolidation? Can ultimate parent get this exemption? No. This exemption only is available to intermediate parents. Which parents? And that too with the satisfaction of 3 conditions if it is a normal subsidiary, and with the satisfaction of 2 conditions if it is a wholly owned subsidiary. Which condition is not required in wholly owned subsidiary exemption? Taking the NOC from. So in case of wholly owned subsidiary, what are the 2 conditions? Neither you are listed in India or outside India or in the process of listing, and your immediate parent company is located in India and prepared the CFS and filed it with whom? ROC as per the AFRF. These are the only 2 conditions required if you are a which subsidiary? Wholly owned subsidiary. But what if you are a partially owned subsidiary? This point will remain same. This point also will remain same. What is the extra point you have? You have to obtain the NOC from your which interest members? Minority. Boss, I am not going to deliver you any CFS. My ultimate parent will deliver. Please send me the objection if you have any. My question is, what if objection has been raised? Then in that case, क्या करना पड़ेगा? What if one of the minority interest shareholders says that no, I want CFS from you only. I am not bothered who is A. I am your shareholder. I want it from you. अब इस केस में आप उनको एग्जिट ऑफर देते हो. क्या ऑफर देते हो? एग्जिट ऑफर का मतलब क्या होता है? गिविंग देम अ प्राइस बाय विच दे विल एक्सेप्ट इट एंड लीव योर कंपनी एज अ मेंबर. क्योंकि यू वांट 100% एनओसी. व्हाट डू यू वांट? अगर एक दो बंदे रेज करते हैं, वी कॉल देम एज डिसेंटेड शेयर होल्डर्स. विच शेयर होल्डर? तो यू शुड बी रेडी टू प्रोवाइड देम इमीडिएटली अ विच ऑफर? Exit offer. Means please exit my company because I can't afford. If the situation is very much vice versa, कि 70-80% of the minority interest shareholders are saying sorry, we don't want you to give this on the shoulders of your ultimate parent, then in that case exit offer is not the case. 1 or 2 मतलब which you can afford to let them go off your company. क्योंकि problem is that due to 1 or 2% of the minority shareholders, I can't afford to leave my or redo my total responsibility. एक दो शेयर होल्डर बोल रहे हैं हाँ वी हैव एन ऑब्जेक्शन. बॉस यू हैव एन ऑब्जेक्शन, टेक दिस विच ऑफर, एग्जिट ऑफर, टर्न अराउंड हो. करेक्ट बोला मैं? टर्न अराउंड निकलो, अपना पैसे लो, सरेंडर करो शेयर्स. यू आर अ मेंबर और नो लॉन्गर अ मेंबर. योर 99% NOC turned into what? 100%. Did you all understand the point? Before entering into the chapter only, you need to have a full-fledged information of section number 129. So section number 129 ने हमें 4 चीजें बताई. What are the 4 things? Point number 1, whatever the rules are applicable to SFS are equally applicable to CFS. What are the 5 CFS financial statements? Consolidated balance sheet, consolidated P&L, cash flow, notes to accounts, consolidated statement of changes in equity. Rule number 2, what is the new duty of a ultimate parent company? Along with its SFS, along with its CFS, it also has to produce SFS of all its components in the same AGM. Did you get the point? What is the rule number 3? How many layers of investments are allowed? Generally 2 layers. But if there is anyone who is 100% wholly owned subsidiary during the 3 layers, we can maximum allow 3 layers. That is the rule number 3. Rule number 4, the intermediate subsidiary wants an exemption. It can be either partially owned subsidiary, wholly owned. Partially है तो 3 conditions, wholly owned है तो 2 conditions. 3 conditions. Your ultimate parent company must be located in India. Second, you are neither a listed nor in the process of being listed. Third, you need to obtain an NOC from your minority interest members or the non-controlling interest members. Whom do we call division A companies, division 1 companies? Which follows their financial statements as per the compliance of AS, which follows Ind AS as a compliance, we call them as division 2. Is it clear to all of you? 100% clarity here? Now, what you need to understand next in this chapter is the difference in the words. Like I told you, in the AS may we call them as which interest? Minority interest. We call it as non-controlling interest. You just need to understand what are the exchange of words they have done when you're shifting from AS to Ind AS. So, अगर आप AS compliance company थे and now you are following what? Ind AS, you have to stop using some words which were allowed in AS. They are exceptionally not allowed in what? Ind AS. Point number 1. When it comes to the definition of what? Associate, there is no change in the definition. First, you tell me what is the definition of associate? कौन होता है एसोसिएट? अगर आप ऐसे लिख के आए ना तो 0 मार्क्स मिलेंगे. मोर देन 20%. किसने बोला मोर देन 20%? एसोसिएट लिखने का मतलब होता है व्हेन यू चूज टू राइट द वर्ड सिग्निफिकेंट इन्फ्लुएंस. व्हाट इज अ वर्ड? Percentage word only comes when you define holding and subsidiary relationship. Which relationship? Like if I'll ask you, whom do you call a subsidiary? A subsidiary is the one in which more than 50% of the voting rights or paid up share capital is held by what? Another company. That makes you a what? Subsidiary. If you are writing this answer, that would be 100% acceptable. Associate के case में you have choose to word right called significant influence. What is the word? And significant influence does not mean more than 20%. It means at least to 20%. What is the meaning? Exactly 20% also will make you a what? Associate. So can I say that 20 to 50 makes you what? Associate. More than 50 makes you a subsidiary. There is no change of definition of associate, be it AS or be it what? Ind AS. So read the first definition. Whom do we call associate? An associate in which investor has a which influence? Which is neither a subsidiary nor a joint venture. But let me tell you one thing. Recently, the word joint venture has been included in the definition of associate. There is no longer a special definition for the word called what? Joint venture. Joint venture, you will find it in the definition of associate, section 2, subsection 3. Did you get the point? So what is the definition of associate now? Associate is the one in which investor has a significant influence, which is neither your subsidiary nor your. And what do you mean by significant influence? Significant influence means at least 20% voting right. My question is, anybody can tell me what is the reason that the word voting right has recently replaced the word called paid up share capital in so many points? Earlier it used to be like minimum 20% of the paid up share capital. Now they are using the word called voting right. What is the reason? DVR, differential voting rights. Let me tell you one thing. When we used to use the word called paid up share capital includes ESC plus PSC. Are you getting the point? Preference shareholders are what? Do they have any voting rights or no voting rights? So unnecessarily we were giving them the importance. Now they have started using the word called what? VR means ESE plus convertible preference share capital. What do you mean by convertible? Who are my equity or who are my potential equity? It means in future they will also start getting a which rights? Voting rights. So that's why they replace the word paid up share capital with the word called what? Voting rights. यहाँ तक समझ में आया? So last but not the least, again repeat and let me know the definition of associate. How you will write? Associate is a one in which investor has a significant influence, which is neither your subsidiary nor your joint venture. What do you mean by significant influence? Either 20% of the what? Voting rights, or the other company is able to participate in your which policies? चलो मैं तुम्हें इसका एक एग्जांपल बताता हूँ. Say for example, this is company A, I am company B. ध्यान से सुनना. I am having a right to tell her that out of your total sales, minimum 35% sales should be made to that person. And she is doing it according to my directions. Now please tell me, is it a 20% voting right wala case or is it a participation in the business policy? Generally, she should take the decision to whom she wants to sell, to whom she does not want to sell. But I am telling her to sell 35% of your sales to that company only. And she is listening to me also. Please tell me, is she my associate? Yes. It means, do I have a significant influence on her? And out of how much sale? 100%. At least 35% sale she is doing it on whose directions? My directions. So it means that makes me a what? Holding, and she is my what? Associate. Did you get the point? So associate significant influence never only means at least 20% voting rights. It also means if you can participate in other companies which policies? Business policy. जरूरी नहीं है कि आपके पास इन्वेस्टमेंट होनी चाहिए. अगर आप उसको इन्फ्लुएंस भी कर सकते हो ना कि बॉस आउट ऑफ योर 100 crores 35 crores only to this customer. So who told you to make 35 crores to this customer? I told you, and you are listening to me. It means you are my associate and I am hers holding. Did you get the point or not? So this is what you have to understand, the meaning of the word called what? Significant influence. And there's no difference between when we talk about associate as per what? AS or as per what? Ind AS. So there's no difference in that. Read the second point. Second definition is nothing but called what? Control. What do you mean by control as per AS? Read this point. Control means what? Either directly or indirectly over more than 50% of the which rights? This is as per the companies which are following AS compliance. But the same word is different. And please tell me how it is different from each other. Meaning में there is no difference. Only the selection of word is different. Read the point now. When an investor has rights. इसका मतलब investor हम किसको बोल रहे हैं? Holding has rights over what? Investing. Means we are talking about and has ability to affect the what? Returns policies through its power over what? Investing. This is a new definition of subsidiary or the control in the Ind AS. Are you getting the point? Associate में any change or no change? Where is the first change came? In the definition of control. What is the definition of control as per AS? Where the one company has more than 50% of the control over the voting rights of another company. Simple line. But what they chose to write it in Ind AS now? Same cheese here. You are saying sorry like this as well as like this. Are you getting the point? But ultimate meaning is saying what? Sorry. So same sorry has the two words, one in AS and one in what? India. Ind AS में what they have chosen the words? When an investor has rights over what? Investee and has ability to affect the returns and policies through its powers over an investee. This is what the change of control here and control here. Are you getting the point? Control over more than half of the what? Composite. Is it necessary that you will become holding by only investing in shares? Or you can also become holding in another method. You can, or if you can control more than what? Half of the composition of management of another company, then also you are called what? Holding. What does that mean? अब लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल सर की कंपनी में 9 डायरेक्टर्स है, ठीक है, मेरी कंपनी में 12 डायरेक्टर्स है. Out of 9, 7 directors are doing everything which I am telling to them. Is this more than half? Are they dancing on my wishes and directions? That makes this company as my subsidiary. And what they did in Ind AS, instead of making it 2 sentences now, they merged it in one. Read the point again. Has a rights over what? यहाँ पे rights का मतलब क्या है? Voting rights. And what? Has ability to affect what? Returns policy. Who takes care of the returns and policies of the company? Management. So instead of writing this and this point, they simply merged it into one point. That is what the difference between the definition of control as per AS and control as per Ind AS. So what are the two definitions we did? Associate and control. Associate में there's not even a single change. Same as per AS is there in Ind AS, but control में there's a change. Instead of writing 2 words, they merged together and made it only a 1 sentence. What is the next definition? Joint control or joint venture. This is also word same. So who is a joint venture? Joint venture is a venture where 2 or more parties will have a control over economic activity as per their which agreement? चलो मेरे को ये बताओ, लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल अपन विजयवाड़ा एयरपोर्ट की बात करते हैं. विजयवाड़ा एयरपोर्ट इज मेड बाय जीएमआर एंड एलएनटी. इज विजयवाड़ा एयरपोर्ट अ जॉइंट वेंचर? Yes or no? How many parties were involved in constructing? So they both have what? Read the point now. A venture means Vijayawada Airport where two or more parties will have a control over its economic activities as per what? And once the construction of the Vijayawada Airport was built, they entered into a contract saying that out of the total revenue of this airport, 40% will go to GMR and 60% will go to L&T. So is Vijayawada Airport an example of joint venture or not? Same as it is in what? India's. No change in India's. Tell me the three definitions we have done. अभी तक हम लोग चैप्टर में एंटर नहीं हुए. We are just clarifying our base of what to use if the company is what? AS compliant and what to use if the company is what? India. अभी सिर्फ इंट्रोडक्शन चल रहा है चैप्टर का. तो प्लीज टेल मी व्हाट आर द थ्री डेफिनेशंस. एसोसिएट सेम, कंट्रोल में थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस, एंड देयर इज नो चेंज इन द वर्ड कॉल्ड what is the next one? What do we call them now? Non-controlling. Whom do we call minority interest? Part of net results of the company and net assets which is attributable to such interest which is neither owned, controlled by the parent. So it means if the parent is holding 90%, we are only talking about what? 10% which is neither owned or controlled by parent. What is their part of net results and what is their part of net asset? That is what we call it as minority interest. So what is minority interest? The part of net profits and the part of net assets which are attributable to such people who are neither owned nor controlled by the parent. And what is written here? Equity in what? Subsidiary, not attributable to its what? Answer is same only. It is just that definition is what? Changed. So there is no need to fear कि AS में something else है. सब कुछ same है. Everything is same. Only the word selection has been made what? Different. There we were explaining in a normal way. There they are completely going for a shortcut. So tell me, how do you define minority interest in AS? Minority interest refers to net results and net assets of the entity which is attributable to such interested people who are neither owned or controlled by the parent. And what is non-controlling interest? Equity in the subsidiary not attributable to its parent. Subsidiary is an entity which is controlled by a, there is no such change in the definition of a word called subsidiary. The total 5 definitions mein how many are same? 3. What are the 3 same? Associate same, joint venture same, and subsidiary ka same. Change only came in minority interest and non-controlling interest, and subsidiary ka definition called control mein change. So tell me the 2 changing definitions. What do you mean by control as per AS? What do you mean by control as per Ind AS? Then I'll make you right. Don't worry. I can see your faces now. You are unable to absorb more. What do you mean by control now? Okay. On the other side, where the investor has a right over the investee and also able to participate in its return and policies of an investee. तो वहां पे investor investee डाल दिया. Here we have written the parent and subsidiary. What are the 2 methods by which you can control a subsidiary? Either via voting rights or via composition of management. But दोनों में main thing is more than 50%. More than 50% of the voting rights and more than 50% of what makes you an associate? In which another company has a which influence? Which is neither, you are neither a subsidiary nor a joint venture. What is the meaning of significant influence? At least 20% of the voting rights or somebody is able to participate in your what? Business fund. Lekin if that somebody is able to control your business policies, so you are associate or subsidiary then? Subsidiary. मतलब यहाँ पे मैंने कंट्रोल किया था या पार्टिसिपेट किया था जब when I told that 35%. It was called participation. But when I'm saying 55% of your sale should be to that debtor, it means I'm controlling her. So that makes her my subsidiary. Otherwise, she is my associate. Is it clear, everyone? 100% clarity. कोई doubt? Start writing. कितना टाइम हो गया? हाँ तो लिखो 1 o'clock तक लिखो. After that leave. Remaining we'll do afresh when you will come out after your lunch, if you left with the energy. बेटा लगता ही है फाइनल के चैप्टर्स आर लिटिल बिट इजी, लेकिन व्हेन यू गो डीपर एंड डीपर ना, इट्स एन ओशन, खत्म ही नहीं होता. Actually, it's a very simple chapter. The only problem is it consumes most of the times when you find the differentiation between AS and what? Ind AS. That is the only main thing you have. Rest remaining everything is very easy. Okay, so what we are doing now? Put the heading, chapter 3, uh, group audits. Group audits. Also, bracket में लिख लो, formerly known as audit of CFS. Formerly known as audit of CFS. Consolidated financial statements. Now, point number one. Framework of consolidated financial statements. Framework of consolidated financial statements. Under that, right? Point number one. Every regulatory framework which is applicable to SFS. Point number one. Every regulatory framework which is applicable to SFS is equally applicable to CFS. Every regulatory framework which is applicable to SFS is equally applicable to CFS, which includes consolidated balance sheet. A. Consolidated balance sheet. B. Consolidated P&L. C. Consolidated CFS. D. Consolidated notes to accounts. And E. Consolidated statement of changes in equity. Consolidated statement of changes in equity. Point number 2. There are two formats for preparation of CFS. There are two formats for preparation of CFS as per Schedule 3 framework. There are two formats for preparation of CFS as per Schedule 3 framework. Under that, A. Division 1 framework. Division 1 framework. Hyphen. Applicable to companies preparing FS. Division 1 framework. Hyphen. Applicable to companies preparing FS on AS basis. Companies preparing FS on AS basis. B point. Division 2 framework. Applicable to companies preparing FS on Ind AS basis. Preparing FS on Ind AS basis. ठीक है, लिखो लिखो, ये तो बहुत लिखना है सर. As per next point number 2 or 3? Point number 3. As per section number 129, following provisions have been laid down. As per section number 129, comma, following provisions have been laid down. Following provisions have been laid down. Under that A point. Following provisions have been laid down. Under that point number A. In the AGM of parent. What is your answer? AGM of parent mein what do you need to lay down? In the AGM of parent hyphen CFS of group, comma, SFS of parent, CFS of group, comma, SFS of parent, and SFS of its each component shall be laid down. Correct? CFS of group, SFS of parent, and SFS of its each component shall be laid down. ये last वाला word underline कर लो. SFS of each component shall be laid down. Clear? B. Generally there are two layers of investments allowed. So मैं लिख दूं? Should I write? Generally there are two layers of एक सेकंड भूल गया मैं. Generally there are, अच्छा मैं भी इतना ही लिखवाया क्या? Generally there are two layers of investments allowed. Two layers of investments allowed to determine the relationship between holding and subsidiary. To determine the relationship between holding and subsidiary. But if there is a presence of any wholly owned subsidiary, if there is a presence of any wholly owned subsidiary among the layers of investment, if there is a presence of wholly owned subsidiary among the layers of investments, comma, then three layers rule shall apply. Then three layers rule shall apply. इसके नीचे एग्जाम्पल लिख लो so that you can understand while reading this concept. A, ये एग्जाम्पल लिख लो. A holding 65% in B, holding 75% in C, holding 100% in D. Abhi, allowed? Do we need to have 100% in the center or anywhere? Anyway, so here you can write D shall also be treated as subsidiary of A. D shall also be treated as subsidiary of A. 100 को circle कर लेना because of this, right? D shall also be treated as subsidiary of A. Clear है? C point. I think A and B are over. C point. इसको स्टार मार्क डाल लो. Exemption of consolidation. C point. Exemption of consolidation to a intermediate subsidiary. Exemption of consolidation to a intermediate subsidiary. To a intermediate subsidiary. Underline the whole sentence. Third point ko underline the whole sentence. Divided into two. In case of wholly owned subsidiary on the left side, in case of wholly owned subsidiary, and on the right side, in case of partially owned subsidiary. I hope you got the intention what the lawmaker was trying to tell. समझ में आया ना? Where do we need three conditions? Partially owned, right? What is the additional one? Minority interest का NOC, right? So left में what we have written first? Wholly owned subsidiary. Below that, right? Conditions to be satisfied. Conditions to be satisfied. Conditions to be satisfied. A. What is the A condition? Such subsidiary claiming exemption. Such subsidiary claiming exemption shall neither be a listed. Such subsidiary claiming an exemption shall neither be a subsidiary, shall neither be a listed in India or outside India. Shall neither be a listed in India or outside India. Such subsidiary claiming an exemption shall neither be listed in India or outside India, nor in the process of being listed. Nor in the process of being listed. So again repeating, such subsidiary claiming exemption shall neither be listed in India or outside India, nor in the process of being listed. Second, its immediate parent company, its immediate parent company, its immediate parent company must be located in India. Immediate parent company must be located in India. On the other side, write both the points same. There's no need to rewrite again. Point number A is also same. Point number B is also same. C is the extra point. Conditions. Put the heading conditions to be fulfilled. A and B are same. C point. I think on the right side, right? Under that, right? It must have intimated to its other members in writing bracket में proof of such intimation. It must have intimated to its other members in writing in the bracket proof of intimation and has obtained no objection from such members and has obtained no objection from such members on non-preparation of CFS. Correct? On non-preparation of CFS by it. करेक्ट है। हमने ऊपर सेंटेंस में क्या लिखा, एक बार बोलना स्टार्टिंग से। इंटीमेटेड टू इट्स अदर मेंबर्स को अंडरलाइन करके लिख लो, माइनॉरिटी इंटरेस्ट मेंबर्स। अदर मेंबर्स को लिख लो माइनॉरिटी मेंबर्स और माइनॉरिटी इंटरेस्ट मेंबर्स, करेक्ट। सो दिस इज व्हाट brings an end. नीचे नोट लिख लो, CG may also allot this exemption on suo motu basis. What is suo motu? On its own. CG may also allot this exemption on suo motu basis. On suo motu basis. ठीक है, दैट्स इट। लीव डेफिनेशंस पोस्ट लंच लिख लेंगे। थैंक यू सो मच। एक्सपेक्टिंग क्या 10 मिनट पहले छोड़ दिया, तुम बोलोगे नहीं कुछ? हमेशा भूल जाते हो। See you guys at 3 today, 3 to 9। 2 हॉलीडे चाहिए ना, तो आई हैव टू कवर अप 3 to 9। 8:30 तक तो श्योर ही है, बट 9 विल सी इफ द दिस चैप्टर हैज टू बी कंप्लीटेड, राइट। थैंक यू।